we will discuss about manufacture of a photovoltaic cell. Photovoltaic cell means a solar cell. So how we can manufacture a photovoltaic cell, we will discuss about the manufacture process. In manufacture process, the raw material for the photovoltaic cell is silicon dioxide. At first, the silicon dioxide is placed in an electric arc furnace in which the oxygen is released and the pure silicon is formed. That pure silicon is about 20 to 30% pure. After that, the pure silicon is placed in a electric heat furnace or floating zone. After electric heat furnace, it is placed in a floating zone. In floating zone, the impurity parts of the silicon is melted and collected at one point or one end of the silicon bar. After that, the silicon bar is cutted and separated out from the pure silicon. In this way, we formed ingot. This is the pure silicon which is called ingot. These are the crystals of the raw silicon, and after this processing, what I discussed now, after this process we form ingot, and that ingot is after now sliced to many parts, and the slices parts are called wafers. So the wafers, after formation of the wafers, we have to form the N-type and P-type semiconductors which are required to form a photovoltaic cell. So in the process of manufacture of N-type and P-type semiconductor, we have to add some impurities like boron to the pure silicon. This process of adding impurities are called doping. So by adding boron, which have 3 valence electrons in its outermost shell, we can create a P-type semiconductor, and by adding phosphorus, which have 5 valence electrons in its outermost shell, we can create N-type semiconductor. In this way, we have manufactured N-type and P-type semiconductors. We have to manufacture now a PN junction or a photovoltaic cell or solar cell. By manufacture of that solar cell, now we have to join or together the P-type and N-type semiconductor and put into a heat furnace in which the 2 P-type and N-type semiconductors are melted together and forms a PN junction, which is called generally solar cell. For manufacture of this melting process, we have to keep the temperature, some temperature and timing for that in this manufacture process. In this way, we have formed a solar cell. So after we manufacture a solar cell, we have to test the output voltage of that. The output voltage of a solar cell is about 0.5 volt. So after manufacture of solar cell, we have to coat the outer surface of the solar cell with a anti-reflective coating to reflect back the to protect the reflection back of the solar light. It prevents the reflection back of the sunlight to the surface. So this is solar cell. The output of a solar cell is 0.5 volt. By the proper electrical connection of many number of solar cells, we have formed photovoltaic module. After connection of 36 solar cells, the photovoltaic module is formed. The output voltage of photovoltaic module is 12 volt. Some factors affecting photovoltaic module output. The output voltage we are receiving from the photovoltaic cell is affected by some factors or some regions. We will discuss now what are the factors by which the output of a photovoltaic cell might be affected. The first factor is the total size of a photovoltaic array. The array means a big size that so many modules of the photovoltaic cell are connected in series and parallel are called array. So the output of a photovoltaic system is depends on the size of the array. To receive 1 kilowatt of power, the array's requirement, the array size is 8 meter into 2 meter area. That means 8 meter length to 2 meter breadth area of array is required to generate 1 kilowatt of power. Second is types of module. The types of module we are using in the process of that manufacture of that photovoltaic cell or module, that is that plays main role in the generation of the output voltage. Generally we are using polysilicon and polycrystalline and monocrystalline photovoltaic cells for the manufacture of these modules. So monocrystalline photovoltaic cells are generally gives high output, and polycrystalline photovoltaic modules gives minimum output or medium output. So our outputs depends on the type of module we are using. According to our need and requirement area, we can choose the type of module we need. The orientation from south. Orientation from south means that photovoltaic panel where we are installing, while we are installing the photovoltaic module in the rooftop, we have to take care of that orientation direction of the photovoltaic module. The orientation of the photovoltaic module should face to the south direction. The northern hemisphere, whatever the solar panels installed in the northern hemisphere, all that solar panels must face to the south direction, and the solar panels installed in the southern hemisphere must face to the north south or north direction. So India is located at the northern hemisphere, so our solar panels installed should face to the south direction, so that the solar panel is able to receive the maximum solar energy throughout the day, which will convert to the electric energy after that. The angle from the horizontal. While installing a photovoltaic module, we have to keep the angle of installation. The angle of the installation from the horizontal line should be minimum 30 degree to 45 degree. While installing a solar panel with a horizontal line, that solar panel must be 30 degree to 45 degree angle from the horizontal line. That whether maybe you can install on the rooftop or a open ground, but the orientation must be to the south direction, and the angle from the horizontal or from the ground level must be at 30 to 45 degree, so that the solar panel can be able to receive the maximum solar energy and the solar light, and it converts it to the electrical energy. We have to keep in view that no obstacles should come in between the sun and the solar panel or solar array. If some obstacles come in between the sun and array, then the shading of that object that falls on the our solar panel, and the output can be decreased by that. So we have to keep in view that no objects or no any obstacle, that may be a tree or building or any object, that should be avoided in between the sun and our solar panel, so that it can be able to give the maximum output or maximum output voltage. Now we will discuss about the photovoltaic system, the total system of photovoltaic cell and the parts of photovoltaic cell we will discuss. This is the total system of a photovoltaic panel, or we are using in our home and on the rooftop of building. This is the solar panel. One solar panel generally gives output of 12 volt, and this is the solar charge controller. It plays very important role in this total system. Then this is the battery, or we can say this is the accumulator. This is generally lead acid battery, and this is the inverter, which inverts the DC voltage into AC. So all these are the equipments used in a solar power system. So we will discuss one by one how this system works. First of all, solar panel is connected to solar charge controller. The solar charge controller is connected to battery, and battery is connected to inverter. So how this system runs? First of all, solar panel receives sunlight and this sunlight is converted into DC. The sunlight is converted into DC voltage, and generally a solar panel converts gives output of 15 to 24 output, one solar panel. So our battery used here is 12 volt battery. So the solar panel gives output of 20 volt. It is too much high to charge that battery. So to control that charging of that battery, this solar charge controller is used. The solar panel gives maximum output of 20 volt, but the charging voltage we need for the battery is 12 to 14 volt. So the output of solar panel is here given to a solar charge controller. What happens here in solar charge controller? It controls the output of charging output of the battery, and it gives the constant charging voltage to that battery by which the battery charges. That may be 13 volt to 13 to 14 volt output of voltage in constant voltage by which the battery is charging. And this plays solar charge controller plays three important roles. First of all, it gives a constant charging voltage to the battery by which the battery charges continuously without any harm. If the output varies, if you will not connect to that charge controller and we will connect directly to solar panel to battery, so what happens there? There is more chances of risks to damage of our battery, because the output of the solar panel varies with time. It is not giving a constant output voltage, constant DC output voltage. It varies its output, that may be 12 volt, 30 volt or up to maximum 20 volt. So more chances are there our battery may damage due to overcharging. When more voltage are coming to the battery, that time what happens? Heat inside that battery increase. If heat increase inside that battery, then it dries that battery and our battery may damage quickly. So charge controller controls the charging of that battery and also increase the life period of that battery, by which the maintenance cost can be reduced. We can reduce the maintenance cost of that battery. Now inverter actually converts the DC into 230 volt 50 hertz AC supply to the load, or the loads are connected or the equipments are connected in our home. The inverter converts the DC DC input to AC and supplies to our loads. So the inverter used in a solar system, that what that inverter does here, in daytime when that sufficient sunlight is available, that time that battery continues charging and supplies DC voltage to the inverter, and inverter converts the DC into AC and supplies to the appliances. This process is continuously running. Simultaneously that sunlight from the sun is converted into DC and stored into that battery or accumulator. At the same time, that inverter draws that DC voltage and converts or changes to AC and supplies to the equipments or load. But in night time, at night time when that sunlight is not available, that time the inverter draws the DC from that battery and supplies that AC to our equipments or loads. So here we are using lead acid battery, and in place of one battery we can also use two batteries simultaneously with parallel connection of two batteries. So that by using two batteries in parallel connection, we can improve ampere hour capacity of that battery. It provides more time output. Solar charge controller here not allowed to reverse flow of the voltage from the battery to solar panel. In night time, when the sunlight is not available, that time this is in the high voltage range and this is in the low voltage range. So more chances are there to flow the voltage from the reverse flow of the voltage, or the voltage may flow from the battery to the panel direction. So charge controller not allows to the reverse flow of the flow of the voltage, and it protects the reverse flow of the voltage. Here if one DC output line is there in solar charge controller. In this point we can connect our DC loads directly to this charge controller. Any DC load we can connect directly with that charge controller, and we can use our DC loads. Now we will see what are the difference between the solar photovoltaic power and conventional power. Solar photovoltaic power means the power we are receiving from the sunlight or by using a photovoltaic cell or a photovoltaic panel, that is called solar photovoltaic power. And the conventional power means that conventional resources of power generating that are for example coal and petroleum, that are the conventional resources by which we can generate electricity. So hydropower is also considered as a conventional source of power, or that is also coming under the conventional power resources. So we will see what are the difference between solar photovoltaic power and conventional power. Solar photovoltaic power plant requires sufficient space to install that system. It needs sufficient space, that may be a building rooftop or maybe a very free ground or very spacious place to which more amount of sunlight and ventilation can reach and more sunlight is available that place. In that place we can install this plant. But in conventional power systems, all that except hydroelectric power system, all that power systems means that plants using coal and plants using petroleum, these two plants needs less space for the installation of that plant. But this hydroelectric power plant requires more space. The output power from the solar photovoltaic power plant is limited, that is up to several megawatts. But in conventional power generation plants, it generates more power as compared to solar photovoltaic power plant. It generates 1000 megawatts of power, that is a very big amount as compared to solar photovoltaic cell. Solar photovoltaic power plant we can use and operate, or we can get the output power only at the daytime, at the time where the sufficient amount of sunlight is available. That time only we can generate the output power. Not 24 hours we can generate the electricity or power from the solar photovoltaic cell. But in conventional powers we can generate electricity or we can generate power 24 hours from that throughout the year. That is the main advantage of a conventional power plant and main disadvantage of a solar plant, because we cannot operate throughout the year and 24 hours. The establishment cost in both the cases, in solar power plant and conventional power plant, both the cases are high, but the maintenance and running cost of the solar power plant is very less, and in conventional power plant the maintenance cost is also high. And in solar power plant it does not emit any greenhouse gases, that means any poisonous gases like carbon dioxide, monoxide, carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxide etc. The greenhouse gases while we're operating or using a solar power plant, it is very eco-friendly or not emitting any greenhouse gases. But while using a conventional power source or conventional power plant, it emits more amount of greenhouse gases which may cause harm to our environment. Some safety precautions, what we will safety precautions we will take while working on a solar power system. The solar power system is very much delicate and sensitive system. Sensitive and delicate system means in sense to that is we have to take care of that electrical connections very carefully. That is sensitive here because we are connecting here more number of cells to form a module, and we are connecting more number of modules in series and parallel connections to form a big array. A big number of we are forming a big number of array. So this we have to very much careful about the electrical connections, and the electrical connections here are made of copper or aluminum wire, and that output voltage while installing we have to check the output voltage of each and every module, that each module is giving proper output and the connection of each module to the another module in a array system is proper or not. Even in a big system of array, if there is little mistake in connection between two modules, then also it will not give proper output and it will damage our whole system. So we have to very much careful about the electrical connections of that each cell, each module and arrays also. This is very much eco-friendly system and maintenance cost free, and that free source of energy or without cost we are getting sunlight. And the another maintenance of that solar panel is we have to clean the surface of the solar panel each and every day regularly, so that it is dust proof and it is able to receive more amount of sunlight, it is able to convert the more amount of light into the electrical power. Now students, please write some assignments. In solar power plant, the solar heat is transferred into molten salt, water, steam, liquid metal, any of the above. Question number 2, which of the following area is preferred for solar plants? Coastal area, mountain area, hot arid zones, high rainfall zones. Number 3, the function of a solar collector is of converting solar energy into radiation, thermal energy, electrical energy directly, any of the above. Reflector mirror employed for exploring solar energy are called mantle, diffusers, heliostats, ponds. A pyrometer can be used for measurement of diffuse radiations only, direct radiation only, both direct and diffuse radiations, none of the above. Temperature attained by cylindrical parabolic collector is in order of 50 to 100 degree, 100 to 150 degree, 150 to 200 degree, 200 to 300 degree. A flat plate collector gives a temperature of about 90 degree with efficiency of 30 to 35. Temperature is about 120 degree with efficiency of 45 degree. Temperature is about 150 degree with an efficiency of 52. None of the above. In a solar collector, the transparent cover is provided to protect the collector from dust, reduce the heat loss from the collector beneath to atmosphere, transmit solar radiation only, all of the above. If you have any queries, you can ask me through my WhatsApp number. My WhatsApp number is 8917671707. Thank you.
झीओटीए तो माटी आम सामाजिक और पारिवारिक जीवनर मूल कथाटी से माने आगकू गले आगकू जीव संसार आम झील माने आ पुओंकठू पछरे नाहंती एबे तो बदली गलानी समय बदली गलानी जुग से झील मानू आहुरी आगकू नहीं आत्मनिर्भरशील और स्वावलंबी करने को ओडिशा सरकार सुदक्षा योजन सरकारी आईटीआई माध्यम संपूर्ण मागणार जोगई देउछंती सबु प्रकार उत्कृष्ट मानर वैषयिक ज्ञान कौशल तालीम। एबे आम झील रहिबे सबुठु आगरे सबुठु उपरे।
मु सफल मु कुशली मु सुदक्षा।